Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for some indie comic reviews, and in these indie comic reviews I'll be covering the Darkstalkers Street Fighter crossover along with the next issue of Fireborn. So first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? In some essence it does, to which I give it a 7 out of 10. Next is the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, the middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we get to see a bit of an introduction as to sort of like who's ruling the realm during this Darkstalkers Street Fighter crossover, and we learn that the person that is ruling this land actually wants to make the place a little bit like England. Having a rule of law as the fights continue to take place within the land. And finally, last but not least, towards the end, for the internal art I give a 7 out of 10. Next is the area of the story rating. So first things first, considering this seems to be a part of an ongoing series of sorts and connected issues between one thing and another, possibly something that I'm not collecting. There was no references to any of the previous issues. Next is the use of time, to which we had laser being used. Next is a location, to which we got a castle. Last but not least, the cast of characters consisting of Felicia, Rose, Lilith, Dimitri, and I think it's Pion. My overall rating for this story is a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the next issue of Fireborn. So, as we begin to move into the next issue of Fireborn, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? It certainly does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10, to which we do get to see a bit of a conflict between these characters. Now it's time to move into the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, the middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we catch up with the characters of Aaron, as well as, I think it's Edgard, from the first one, as well as, I think, the second. And with this, we hear a bit of a story coming from Edgard, where he's from and what it's connected to. And whilst this is occurring, he ends up bringing Fireborn into the conversation, and he asks him where he heard that name. So as the story continues in the diner, they get a bit of a visit from one of Edgard's enemies. Of course, the detectives turn up on the scene, and there's a bit of a fight between Fireborn and the Four Horsemen. Yes, that's what they're called in the story, the Four Horsemen. And of course, the big bad villain behind them. For the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Next is the area of the story rating. So first things first, do we get anything time-wise? No, we don't. Location? No, we don't. Next is the cast of characters. We had Aaron, we had Edgard, as well as Detective Fawn. My overall rating for this story is a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.
Thank you.